Welcome viewers, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Sally.
And this is
Channel 6 News
at 9.
Such as Canada and self-rule,
Agricultural advancements,
the flying shuttle,
socialism,
and railroads.
Now we will speak to Sally and Miss John on foreign affairs between France and Canada.
Well, what was the first country to colonize Canada?
The first country to colonize Canada was the Great Britain, and they colonized it in the 1600s.
What were two groups having conflicts with Great Britain and why?
The two groups having problems with Great Britain was the Roman Catholic French and the Protestants because those two groups were pressing high pressure on government and affairs.
Why did the British Parliament decide to divide Canada into two parts?
Because they were having problems and they were not colliding well, so they divided it into two parts, which was the upper part, which was the Ontario, and the lower part, which is now Quebec.
What did Durham do to reform the Canadian colonies?
He told them that they had to become one reformation, so from the upper and lower part had to all be one.
The Canadians believed that Canada needed a central government.
Because they wanted to be in a higher power, and that they thought that if they were all together, they can make a bigger formation for it, and they can go through terrorists and all that.
Thank you for giving us insight on Canadian reforms.
Yep.
Now we will talk to Sally and Mr. Prime about the recent improvements of railroads.
Yes, railroads. Although it has become an outdated source of transportation in 1825, very successful.
You mean the locomotive designed and built by Stevenson?
Is there any other man for the job?
Create the locomotive that could haul a 13-ton load at 24 miles per hour?
Well, yes, he did. He created it with his son. He called it the rocket.
Railroads helped industrialize England or Britain at all?
Of course it did. The railroads boosted England's agriculture and fishing industries because they could transport goods.
How many railroads were there?
Well, if you look at this map, there's many railroads to important places.
Things move around.
Well, a man named Richard Trevithick thought of an idea to make steam move the locomotive. Railroad. Yes, in 1804 he won a bet because he got the train to haul 10 tons of iron over 10 miles just using steam. Yeah!
Now we have Mr. Megatron and Sally speaking on the new invention of the flying shuttle.
Who invented the flying shuttle?
John Kay in 1733.
Flying shuttle affect the Industrial Revolution.
The impact of the flying shuttle was that it was the newest and most efficient way to work on one loom, throwing the shuttle back and forth to make wider cloth in a faster time. This increased production and a greater need for cloth.
What were the social effects of the flying shuttle?
The flying shuttle was the beginning of the power loom era. It increased production and promoted development of other power looms.
How does the flying shuttle work?
The flying shuttle works by two people sitting at one loom on opposite ends, each throwing the shuttle back and forth, which makes a wider cloth and it makes it faster.
Where was the flying shuttle invented?
In England, of course. Now I will be speaking to Cindy about socialism.
Excuse me, ma'am, but what exactly is socialism?
Socialism is the greatest social system of organization ever created. It helps balance out the economy while providing everyone with land, food, and money.
What are your beliefs as a socialist?
I believe that the community or state should own property and distribute these products based on necessity. Progress results when producers stop working for just themselves and instead for the good of all.
What role do you believe the government should play in our day-to-day lives?
The government needs an organized system to plan out the economy rather than depend on free market capitalism. In addition, the government should control railroads, factories, and mines with the hopes to end poverty, promote equality, and create jobs.
What brought about the idea of socialism?
Radical socialist Karl Marx sparked the idea of Marxism and wrote the Communist Manifesto, which argued that human societies have always been divided, like it is now, between socialists and capitalists.
Thank you for your time.
Cindy will be speaking to Rachel Howe about agricultural advancements.
What was the agricultural revolution?
The agricultural revolution was a period starting from the 1600s and onward where the agricultural business experienced an immense amount of change. Farmers had a different system where the open field system was no longer being used and the enclosure movement started. and that led to more compact but larger farms. And this also slowed down like the amount of work that farmers had.
And now, what was the enclosure movement?
The enclosure movement was when large landowners closed off the land in England and small farmers lost their jobs.
Advancements in machinery and equipment sparked the Industrial Revolution.
The advances made farming a lot more efficient, which led to less need of manual labor for the farmers, and that cut down their labor.
What was the labor force that fueled the Industrial Revolution, and why was it available?
As the need for manual labor started decreasing, there was leftover labor forces that was then used to fuel the textile industry and the other factories that were starting